What the fuck are you doing? Cutting someone up on a fucking table, Dexter style?
I'm cutting myself a drink.
No wonder a man needs a fucking vacation. He's driving him nuts.
This is what happens when he spends 3 days alone.
Hell yeah, brother.
Oh my god.
Right. I'm ready. Ah! Kill us bottom. Season 2, episode 4, Fancy Cast.
Yeah, I think he just blew out Lucas's eardrums for fuck's sakes. Look at him.
We broke him. It's the beginning of this shit.
Hi. How's it going?
Oh my god.
Hope y'all are doing good today.
I love the fact that you look like you should be on another podcast, maybe talking about philosophical ideas, but you still start this shit with a banshee screech.
Well, I am going to talk about how I traveled across the world to many exotic locations to
You have been sitting on your couch
mine
drinking for
oil.
3 days. Don't fuck with me.
I know, actually,
In the spiritual realm.
I think I just emptied the Irish whiskey. Yeah, 1 second.
It's the most culture he's gotten in a month.
My mustache hair is getting in my drink. Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
That's fucking empty right now. Okay.
You're getting this. You're getting a nice salty dandruff taste. Like
it tastes like if you sprinkled sugar on a tire fire. It's pretty nice.
That's a sentence.
How's everyone doing? How's everyone's week?
good, man.
Interesting now.
It just got significantly worse, but we'll still chalk it up to a 7.
Dude,
Yeah, I don't say
went
better
to-
or worse, but I'll say interesting.
I went to fucking
I don't know where
EB
it's
Games. I went to EB Games for the first time to buy a physical copy of a game in forever on Friday to grab the new Ghost of Tsushima game for PS4. And I had to finesse this poor fucking kid, man, because I overhear the clerk. I literally was like one of the first people getting in the door, but because of COVID and shit, they're like, oh, we only have a certain supply of like each and every game, which is like, I guess a copy. Like if you're not a pre-order holder, it's one copy that they have extra in stock. So I see this guy in front of me and he's like, yeah, like I'm going to trade in a few games and like uses $50 and buy Ghost of Tsushima. And the guy's like, are you sure? Because I only have one copy left. And I'm sitting there going, oh, dude, I just stood by for like 20 minutes, please. And luckily they weren't taking pre-orders, so I like tapped this kid on the shoulder and I'm like, yeah, man, why don't you just wait till next week? They're bound to have more copies. And he's like, yeah, you know what, man, you're right. And he like walks out the door and the dude looks at me and he's just like, I was gonna like trade the games in for him and give him the game. And I was just like, no. You're gonna get the game.
You're gonna get that game's going to me, brother.
Yeah.
But then the motherfucker had the audacity to walk outside and go, sorry, folks, somebody just bought the last copy. And I'm like, wow, I'm going to be the next guy to walk out of the store. And everyone's going to be like, that motherfucker.
That motherfucker right there.
So the other clerk grabs this bag with like a big Call of Duty fucking thing on it. And he wraps it up really tight. And he goes, put this under your arm and run.
Like, go buy it on digital, you schmuck.
Dude,
honestly,
honest to God, man, I said sure, but the PlayStation 4 caps your download speed. So it's like for a 90 gig game or something, it'll take about like a day and a half to download. It's brutal.
What?
Oh, it's so, dude, it's so
that
bad.
bad.
Mine
It is
downloaded
so
pretty
bad, I
fast,
swear to
man.
God.
I
No,
download
mine only
games in
takes
like
forever.
less than an afternoon.
Final Fantasy VII
Like,
Remake took me like an hour. It was nothing.
My little brother tried to like he was downloading Destiny 2 to the PS4.
Good choice.
And it was like,
I'm dead.
dude, it took him like maybe like 12, 14 hours. It was crazy. And I don't know, maybe it's harder under a house. I'm not sure. But even here at Mackenzie's, it's the same way, man. It's the exact same way.
Do one of us have the power to turn off Dev's camera? I just don't want to look at this for the next 45 minutes.
I just put like a piece of tape over his corner on my screen.
Honestly,
this is the best part. This is getting to look like if he wasn't wearing fucking drawers, you'd see his nuts like hanging down lovingly right there.
As a
That's
man
the whole point.
should.
God.
Oh, dear Lord. So what inspired this, Dev?
Socks? Why the black socks?
Oh man, you can't. You got. Oh, they got bleach on them too.
Oh, that's what it is, bleach. Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, it turned to black red. So if any other gunk on my sock is turning it red, I should see a doctor.
You should already see a doctor.
I got really high when it was like right after the last week's podcast. I got really, really high. And I was in the shower, and shower thoughts, right? You just start thinking of things like, oh, this is the business I'm going to start. You know what I mean? But my thought was, and Ryan fucking ruined it because he's a fucking dick, was I'm going to get a robe. Now, I wanted a robe anyways, and it just inspired me to get a fancy one. Nice silk red. And a mustache. And my goal, because I was high and I already planned it out in my head, and by the time I bought everything, like it was already done. My plan was to have Ryan start the podcast, and then midway through the introduction, the camera flicks on, and then there's me. And I was gonna put on a whole accent, but Ryan fucked it up, so I gave up. I did my part.
Is Amanda home with you right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the message in the chat. I could already hear this podcast being recorded.
Is this going to be a sex thing later?
No, dude, I've been wearing this thing since it came in.
So it was a sex thing earlier.
No, Amanda was out of town. That's why I've been doing nothing but drinking and wearing a robe. Dude, I'm still fucked up. I'm still fucked up from Friday.
To all girlfriends out there, don't worry about what your man does when he's home alone and you're not there. This is the shit your man does when he's home alone and you're not there.
Just stupid shit.
Dude, I've been fucking drinking since Friday, bro. Like, and I haven't been sleeping. I've been up until like 4 or 5 in the morning playing Dark Souls. Last night, so I took all the weed that I have, all of it, and just ground it up into one big boof. And then I choked the whole thing back. So it's like 3 a.m. No, it's about 1 a.m. and I am fucking gone. And I put on this 3.5 hour video of front to back Dark Souls lore from Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3. And like every item and like a full front to back, start to finish Dark Souls lore video. And dude, my brain was like working on like a hyper extensive level where like I was absorbing all of that information. I was locked in completely on this video. And then it was like 5 a.m. I was like, shit, I should probably go to bed.
No.
Oh my God, dude.
And then I woke up at 9
on Dark Souls 2 lore.
No, it was Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, okay.
The whole Dark Souls beginning to end.
That's when you start the Bloodborne lore.
And then
I didn't watch the Bloodborne lore.
Sekiro.
That actually came before. I watched the Bloodborne one before I watched the. It was really interesting going from like all the students and teachers of Bergenworth, and then how they all split off and they're like, this guy's like blood's a good thing. This guy's all like insight's a good thing, and it's just all back and forth between people not agreeing on anything, and then everything goes to shit. It was dope.
It's great lore. It's just you need to look for it. Like it doesn't hand it to you. You really have to search for it.
Well, see, more so with Dark Souls.
Yeah,
because Dark Souls 1 and 2 didn't have a fucking plot.
Yeah, it was a dead guy that wasn't a dead guy that killed some guys and made them dead.
It was there was enough of a plot that the speculation is there, and like it's right. But there's you can get the whole plot of Dark Souls, and the question still remains, but why? What is this? And it's like,
fucking some Japanese dude who really loves acid just fucking said, let's do this, but make it hard.
Let's do this and make it hard.
I'm getting
I like their sex tape.
My mustache is absorbing a lot of my whiskey.
Good, you'll get like double drunk.
I know, I'm smelling it right now. It's dripping. This mustache is bigger than I thought it was.
These are pains that we don't actually have as real mustache growers.
that your mustache doesn't absorb liquor.
No.
No, because you just suck it
Well,
off.
then I don't want one. Then this is fucking stupid.
You guys, fuck you guys. I didn't want one anyway.
Well, if it doesn't absorb liquor, why would I want it? I can't even grow one. But now now I don't want to.
You ever had ravioli with a ton of Parmesan cheese on the top of it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what you do is you eat the pasta, and then there's Parmesan cheese just kind of stuck here. So then when you're on your last ravioli, you pop it in, and then you just go.
Oh my god! It is.
Is that your actual hair color?
No. He's like he's Walmart brand Dr. Disrespect.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yo, you take over his Twitch.
Red. Like I have red.
We can't hear you, mister. I'm 60 feet from the mic.
I have very red facial hair.
You don't have facial hair. It's only
No.
red because it's the blood.
The facial hair that I do grow is like red, very very red.
But
no,
it's
it is-
clear, almost invisible.
It is my mustache is
Same with my mustache though. You can see you can kind of see it, but you can't really. It's it's all beard.
Trying
Really.
to get mine to curl too, but without wax.
Are you part Irish or part Scottish, Ted? Or just German?
German.
There's German, and then there's also like the white, where it's like potentially.
What the fuck does that mean? All of Western Europe.
No, I mean that's what that's exactly it. It's like 1% French, 1% British, 1% Irish, 1%. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm from Ireland. It's one of those your ancestors fucked everyone in the fucking Union Jack. You know what I mean? Like,
guys, Dev has
German, Dutch, Canadian.
I have the white.
German, Dutch, Canadian.
Oh.
Jesus.
Yeah, German.
So
Mr.
you are
Funky.
German, Dutch, Canadian.
Funky.
Canadian's not a
that's
nationality. Or Canadian's a nationality. It's not a. Shut up. Canadian's not one of them.
Never. Okay, the white.
The white.
Canadian's not nationality, but German is.
Yes, exactly.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, fuck off. Fuck off, eh? What's this all about?
This is
Dude,
Sneeze
speak-
mute.
I think I'm allergic to the adhesive on this thing. This is really irritating my face.
Just gonna take it off and have like
His
a mustache
actual
of
mustache.
blisters.
Dude, I had a fucking
He has the fat. He takes off his mustache. He's got the fattest upper lip known to man. What the fuck?
Stung by a million bees.
Looks like a pug.
Yeah.
I hope I become like the new Marvel superhero where it's like the adhesive causes like a radioactive
Bitten by a radioactive mustache.
yeah, and then so I got like mustache powers where like shoot out hair and I catch bad guys.
So you're a tarantula.
But no, man, I've been having like a fucking pamper weekend. So Amanda's got this like fucking goopy black shit that you put on your nose and then it hardens and you peel it off.
Face mask. Yeah.
Man, I
Face
have
mask,
like
yeah.
my T-zone is pristine.
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 Got any crazy work stories from this week or
Ooh.
you were looking forward to crazy work stories?
I haven't started yet.
Oh, so just poorness.
No, last week when I was telling you I had that meeting with my boss, he literally said, brainstorm ideas so I can hire you back. Like he's not figuring out work for me. I got to do it myself. And then he'll hire me back when I figure out what work I want to do. And I already told him, like, I don't want to do the cold call. I'm like, I don't want to do the cold calling anymore. He's like, tough.
Dude,
So I'm like,
That's technically your job.
No, it wasn't. We talked about it last week. I was hired for a warehouse.
It is now.
Physical labor.
No.
Imagine an employer hiring you for like a specific job, and then it's supposed to be the employer providing you with work, but then he looks at you and goes, "Make your own work." I'd be like, "Okay, I'll make my own work," but I mean that work is going to be me sitting at home playing video games.
I made my own work. I was like,
are we cool with that?
I just told him, like, I'll do my job. I'll work in the warehouse. He's like, no. We need people on phones. I'm like, get the actual salespeople on phones.
Too much work.
I wasn't sales to begin with. We have a sales department. I was warehouse. And then he just put me into fucking sales and said, do this instead.
Yeah, well,
like,
get
I don't
fucked
want
for
to
being
do
good
that.
at your job.
I hate sales. I don't want to do it anymore.
So do a
I've
bad
done
job.
it. We talked about this
honestly.
last week. The only reason why I have sales experience is that it was a fucking fluke. I didn't mean to be good at it. It just happened. I don't want to do it. I hate sales.
Harness your
I
special
hate-
abilities.
Look at
For
me.
the
The
record.
best.
I'm retired. I shouldn't be working anyways.
I wish.
I would love to be retired, man. Just retire at 25. Hell yeah.
Did I tell you I was heckling with a dude all week about the price of a video?
What
So
kind of
this guy-
video?
A video for what?
Here comes
It's
the
work. This is straight work. So the guy emails me and he goes, "Hey, I need you to turn this one video into 5 episodes. Please put your leg down before I continue."
It's distracting. It's alluring. Stop it.
Like, listen, I'm just gonna be like, and then he asked for the video. There you go, cross him like a good little girl. So he emails me going, "Hey, I need this video. It's like an hour long. I need it turned into 5 shows. Can you do it?" And I go, "Cool. Let me go find out what the price is because I don't make these prices." Come back and we've gone, "Okay, cool. We'll do the whole thing. We'll do 5 episodes produced for $400. $400 for 5 episodes. Pretty fucking good deal, especially for video.
Less than $100 a video.
Less than $100 a video." Comes back immediately and goes, "Now my budget's 2. Let's do that."
Ew.
No. The budget here is 4. Let's do that. So we kept fighting all week back and forth, being like, finally we got it down to 300. But he asked for a whole bunch of extra shit that's just kind of like, fine, it takes 30 seconds. I will do it.
How do you, sorry to cut you off. I'll let you continue, but it's one of those things like, how do you heckle a price that is like 25% less? And then you ask for more. At that point, you should just. I was gonna say, but like, even if you do heckle a service, how do you heckle a service? And then once you get the lower price, then you ask for more. Like you should just.
That was his value proposition. That was his attempt at getting the most for his money. And thankfully, the most for his money was a very small amount of extra work. So I'm like, fuck it. It's just like add 30 seconds to the end. Got it.
For 400.
So Friday, we finally settle on the $300 price tag. All 5 episodes. I'll do your little thing at the end. And I send him, okay, cool. I need this, and this. Like I need a title card. I need a title. I need this shit to make it. Comes back, goes, cool. I'll upload that ASAP. I need these by Monday. It is Sunday at 7:30 in the evening. I don't have shit. So, sorry.
400.
I should have paid me $400, and maybe I would have haggled, or maybe I would have tried a little harder.
He dicked you, and now he realizes he can dick you. He should have been like, no.
He played. No, he played himself. That's what happened.
I'm entirely expecting a really angry email tomorrow morning, being like, "Where the fuck are my videos?" And me going, "Hey, where the fuck is this, and this for your videos? Also, where's my extra $100? And also, Dev, get off your fucking phone."
I wanted to turn off the light.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm allowed to
That's
go on
what they
my
all
phone.
say.
This is my house. This is my podcast. This is my
This is my
idea.
podcast.
Fuck you. Fuck you. It is now.
This is my podcast.
Fuck
Oh,
you.
the Pillars of Ryan podcast. POR.
That is it. The one and only time the bass is important. This podcast. Oh, he's thinking. He's deliberating between his many alcoholic options.
Amanda just got me this. You know, it's the good old double oaked. You can't go wrong with it.
Oh, good.
Uh,
We have that here at the LCBO in Hamilton, just in case you ever want to come by.
never at
LCBO
the,
Hamilton.
it's never in the Toronto ones except for Bloor Young.
Oh,
Bloor
yes,
Young
and
location
Bloor.
has it.
No shit. That has everything. They probably
But
still
other
have
than
Revel
that,
Stoke.
you can only get this one in fucking small towns. Amanda got it when she
I have Revel Stoke. I have Revel Stoke in my cupboard downstairs, but it's like
Good.
it's a special. It's like a special flavor or something that they did. I think it's root beer or some shit. It's fucked. Absolutely.
They also have
What do
they
you
also have
guys
like a
think?
peanut butter one as well.
You just
Yeah,
gotta get the original.
someone can see the peanut butter one.
the
Something would
spice.
slap.
Spiced
My
whiskey.
mom had some peanut butter whiskey last time I went down. It was delicious. Mom gave me a glass of it, and right before she said, "Sip it, enjoy it, because it tastes really good," I went, "Yup!" Just shot the whole thing. My mom was like, "Yeah, make sure you enjoy." Oh,
Lucas is conspiring.
Hmm?
I feel like a 7-year-old. What are you doing
you got,
down there,
you
buddy?
got some shit. You got some shit to say, buddy?
I can see the like. Again, I rewatched these episodes so I can see you conspiring. Oh, Nick's gone. Oh, he's back. Hi. What crazy prop are you planning today, Lucas?
I feel like Lucas is a sleeper.
Yeah, the important things.
The one thing he said, you interrupted him. Lucas, say it again.
I asked for chips.
I have
Fair
chips
enough,
and
that's
dip
good.
in my house. Come here. I'll feed you.
Can
I'll feed you.
I
Jim.
do the same thing? I'm gonna do the same thing. Hold on. Empty house. Can I get chips?
Imagine if it just flies
No.
through the door.
Said no.
I'm so terrified for you.
What if
Ghost
like
of
right
love.
behind you? What if right behind you hears no
It would
on the
hopefully be
podcast? Like,
you. Yeah. It's an old house.
Great.
I'm
Now
not
we're
gonna put it past it.
stories, guys.
I'm not gonna put it past this old fucking house. So
Guys, stop it! I'm scared.
if a ghost brought me chips, I would be less scared and more just like,
Dude.
shit, maybe there's something here.
dude,
You know what?
the big
That's a
fat
great
backhand
fucking
from a
topic.
ghost. You get fucking chips from a ghost, but then they also give you like the corner store receipt, so you got to pay the ghost back.
Fuck it, the
Dude.
chips are here.
Yeah, I'm gonna need that $5.50 back, bro.
I am willing to work with the dearly departed to get myself snacks. I'm cool.
Well, okay. So speaking of, man, like, have any of you guys ever had paranormal experiences? Like, I love talking about this shit with my friends because like I've had some fucked up
1000%.
shit happen. Yeah. Okay. So Dev, you start. I want to hear each and every one of your fucking most scary fucking paranormal experiences.
God.
Doesn't matter if it sounds like it could be far fetched.
They're not scary. So, and they're mostly in mainly two locations. One was my my grandmother on my dad's side, so her house. Because that house was when my great grandparents moved to Canada. They built that. They built the house. That was back when St. Catharines was all peach fields. And another one was a place called Page Street. It was like a townhouse. Anyways, so I'll start with the townhouse one because that's like the most vivid experience. There's two that I can really recall. So it's hard to explain. Nick, you've been to my place, right?
Yeah.
So
wait, which one?
So this one.
Okay.
Yeah, you nearly killed him.
So you know how I have that how I have my living room and then the hallway right here.
Yes.
So the house on Page Street had kind of like the same setup. It was like an L shape where the living room was kind of like where my living room is, and then there was a hallway. Now, the only window, it was a very small apartment, was essentially like, imagine this couch was against the window right here.
Yeah.
And then the hallway would be in front of me. Light never got down this hallway. Like it stopped where it's like the light stopped where the hallway started. And even if light did go down this hallway, the shadows would cast on the far right wall. Constantly. And even when we had a dog, the dog would freak out all the time. Constantly, there would be this shadow that walked on the left side of the wall down that one hallway, even where like no light reflected off of it. Another thing is that this is when my eldest half sister, Tara, was just a baby, still in the crib. And she would constantly talk to something in like the closet area. At the same time, where she would talk to something in the closet, both it happened to me, my brother, and my dad in different rooms where we'd wake up to. No, I wish. I'd rather get pissed on than this, but multiple times. Whenever she would talk to someone in the closet, we would all wake up with a silhouette over our bed, but not like sleep paralysis. We could move, but there would always be a silhouette over that bed. And like dad would experience it. I would experience it. My brothers experienced it. And then my dad eventually moved out of that. Like he couldn't take that shit anymore.
Interesting.
Another one at my grandmother's house. So my great grandfather was always a sour, bitter, awful man. From what I know, I mean, he died. Obviously, he died before he was even born. But like everyone, but
it's genetic apparently.
He basically lived in his workshop in the basement. That was his place, and he died in that house. And ever since, like, we don't use the base. They never used the basement there. It was just like a little bit of storage and Grandpa's workshop. And it's one of those things that even people who just go there, you don't even need to know anything about the house. Like, the house itself makes you feel uneasy, but as soon as you get to that basement, like, you feel sick. It's such a disgusting, awful feeling. And a lot of times, like, when you're in the basement, you hear like chattering coming from like around you, and then a lot of times when you're walking up the stairs, you kind of feel something grab your ankle and shove you down. That
granddad.
and yeah, like, it happened. So my dad, it was that Thanksgiving, my dad was sleeping on the couch and I was sitting like next to him. So like if he was laying across the couch, I was sitting on the floor. So my head and his head were kind of like in the same place. And we're sitting and playing. All you kind of hear is just like whispering kind of thing. My dad shot up, like, because he heard it too. He shot up and freaked the fuck out. And I'm freaking out because I was like, I thought that was like one of y'all guys, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
But like, I was like maybe like 7, 8, like grade 2 probably. But yeah, no, that house is, yeah, it's one of those houses where like I brought in friends there and like, girlfriends, and as soon as you get there, you're just uncomfortable. There's like just such a dark cloud that hangs over that house.
Granted, that's me and everyone else's house, but there's different reasons for that.
But it's because that big miserable cloud follows you. It's not in the house.
True.
I got one. Anyone else? Yeah.
I got one that's not nearly as oppressive as that one, but that really it sounds like it was genetic, and your granddad just became your dad, and now you're him. But fancier. At least I'll give you fancier. So growing up, my parents' place, Nick's seen it. I think he's the only one who's ever seen it. But that whole area used to be old farmhouses that were then torn down and put up into 70s ass houses. Really
quickly, before you continue, Ryan, it's so fucked up that you say this, because like I was just like, I'm gonna tell my ghost story later, and it's in the same area. And if there's I swear to God, all of Heart Lake is fucked, isn't it?
Yeah, that whole area used to be old school, like 1850s farmland where like people lived and died on this property, right?
Yeah, continue.
So, growing up, my sister and I, it would be around 3 o'clock from the ages of maybe 5 to 16-ish. We're around 2 to 3 in the morning. I'd just be laying in bed and I'd get woken up, and then you'd get up to go pee kind of thing. Yeah. So I'd get up, I'd leave the bedroom, go down the hallway to go to the bathroom, and I can just hear it's either talking or what sounds like an old school radio show playing on downstairs. Like straight up news report shit.
The price
going on
is
downstairs.
right. Come on down.
Yeah, like from those like big, like stand up, like the big stand up radios. From,
fucking
like,
tube radio shit going on in the like downstairs in the main floor.
Fuck that.
So I would hear it and I'd kind of like peek down and be like, yeah, no one's awake. I look at my parents' room, they're passed out. So it's like, no one's awake. Okay, cool. Maybe I'm just hearing some shit. Go to bed. And this happened for years, and I never said anything. There'd occasionally be nights where you could hear people coming up and down the stairs, like the basement stairs, not the main stairs. But
oh shit! That reminds me of another one.
Keep going, though. This is my time.
We'll come back to you.
I'd hear this radio show kind of thing going on, and I'd hear people coming up and down from the basement. Just like, okay, fuck it, whatever. Maybe someone's awake, whatever. But I never said anything. So I think it was like I was 16. My sister must have been probably 14, 13-ish. And just one day, older than you. No, she's a weird.
So it doesn't matter. Unrelated.
Yeah, stop asking about my sister. Dibs. So yeah, one day I look at her and I go, "Have you ever heard shit downstairs? Like when you get up to go pee?" And she goes, "Yeah, it's like someone's talking down there. So like someone left the TV on or something." So that was like confirmation. Like, okay, shit's happening. So eventually, after having that conversation, I go downstairs, and by the time I hit the third step down, it stopped. And that was the time I was like, fuck it, no, I'm going to bed. We're just leaving this alone. It's like I hit the third stair, like dunk, dunk, dung, and it was almost like there was a click from the radio, and shit just shut off. Like, no, I'm fine. My hope is that some crackhead in Brampton broke into our house every night to listen to the radio, and then just left in the morning. That is my genuine hope. But
they really like the radio murder mysteries.
It's possible. It's
honestly,
possible.
especially in that area, it's entirely possible that someone who was just fucked out of their mind, thought our house was nice, broke in every night, listened to fucking radio tales, and then left in the morning.
Oh my god, yeah, that area was absolutely fucked, man. Because my story is in the
like
same.
The footsteps and shit like that. Like that's like, I mean, not to cut you off, sorry, Nick, but
No, that's all right.
a lot of like these paranormal stories that I hear, they always kind of have similar characteristics, especially like that when you get close enough, it stops, kind of thing. Whatever it may be. Like Lucas probably knows it, and in Thorold, there's a place called the Blue Ghost Tunnel. Very famous.
Oh, yeah. Joe showed me that.
Very, very famous tunnel, and I will go all the time because it's like an hour walk. And so you get in there, and
there's a geocache
like,
there.
Yeah, there is.
Don't say that.
But
I got it.
at the end, so you can only go so far into the tunnel before the rest of it's submerged. But at the end of the tunnel, you hear these thick, heavy worker boot footsteps. Right? There's water coming through the ceiling because it's under the canal. But besides all the noise that happens, it is unmistakable big boot footsteps. And you can walk towards it, and it comes towards you. And as soon as you're at the apex of it, where you're about to like meet, it's all the way at the other end of the tunnel behind you.
You studied
like
sound. You should know what's doing that.
So the sound itself, but how does the source come towards you, and then like no
Proximity
clip
effect.
Teleport?
Yeah, proximity effect. That's totally scientifically explained. That's just a tunnel with old acoustics and water.
So that's just one of those things where like these footsteps get closer and closer and closer, and then they're all the way at the other end of the tunnel. I love that. Same thing with my grandma's house. So also my great grandmother died. Our family likes to die in their house.
Me too. Slowly.
But so my grandmother died there as well. And they have one of those staircases that are like, it goes up and then turns and then goes up the opposite direction. So it's not just like one staircase. And at the top of the stairs, there's a light. So it shines down on the opposing wall. And often you'll see like a silhouette from standing on top of the landing. But if you look up, there's nothing there. And constantly footsteps that go up and down the stairs. But as soon as you get close enough to the footsteps, they stop. It's wild. So anyways, Nick, you're
and Nick's story.
Yeah, I was just gonna fucking say that, like, well, literally not like 2 blocks from where Ryan's parents' house is where like me and my family was living before. We just moved from there last year, and we're moving again this year. But fucking the house we used to live in, we lived in it for like 11 years. It was on Elmvale, just off of where Loafers Lake is, right there, next to Loafers Lake. Yeah,
you're in that back area.
Sandalwood.
Yeah.
And one night, so I've told the story to everybody because it's like the most vivid story that I have, where I was like, fuck, that doesn't really seem like explainable. So there was like a month straight where like my Brad, like my brother, was having these like night terrors where he would wake up. He wouldn't wake up. He would sit up in his sleep because like we like slept in the same bed when we were younger, and he'd wake up in his sleep or sit up in his sleep, and he would just start screaming.
I would do that too as a kid.
Yeah, he would scream at the top of his lungs, but it was like he only did it for a month and then it stopped. So anyway, like he kept doing it all the time. I kept calling my parents in, and they're like wondering what the fuck's going on. I'm like, I don't know. I think he's sleeping or something. I don't know what the fuck he's doing.
Drugs.
But I don't. Yeah, exactly. I don't want this shit, dog. I don't want this. So after the month went by, I'm sitting on like Xbox playing with some friends, and outside the window there was a park like right behind my house, this little tiny parkette with like kids play area and stuff like that, and the light was on, out there, and then the light flashed, like it turned off. And I was like, okay, well, these things are like timed, like maybe there's just whatever. I've never seen it turn off before, but I was like, it's not, you know,
Wow,
Oh, no.
Ghost got him. Ghost got him.
Oh no! I insulted him with my breath.
He
Nick!
couldn't. He wasn't allowed to tell the story. This is the only one that is true, and he's gone. He can't tell it.
Hey, I don't joke about this shit.
I do, because if I don't, I'm actually gonna get scared.
I don't have any paranormal stories, but I have a really scary true story. But I want to wait till we see if Nick can come back here.
Can we
he says
kick
he's
him and like
talking
invite him back?
He's still here. Like he's
No,
still
I
in
think
the call.
Yeah,
Ghost is
but
taking
he
over.
hasn't. Like, look,
But-
it says he's talking
It's
right
green
now, and
circle
there's
going,
also
yeah.
no
No, I
video.
know. I know. It's just we're gonna have to wait. He'll probably have to leave and come back. I don't know. He could probably hear us right now too.
All right, edit this out.
No. We're gonna put the picture of Nicolas Cage back right there.
All
All right,
so
cool.
I'll
Well, then, while we figure it
tell
out,
the
then
big one.
Lucas, you tell.
Yeah,
So-
Lucas, you go.
when I lived in North End St. Catharines off Lakeshore Road on a street called Wilshire. It's obviously really rich neighborhoods, really nice houses right along the lake, or right near by the end of my street. And there's this one off street where there's like a lot of like new age homes, like solar panels, powered houses, like right on the edge of right by Port Dalhousie, kind of, but more towards the canal.
Yeah.
Really nice houses. And there's this one house that was built, and for the longest time, for like the whatever 7, 8, 10 years I lived in that house, it was always like this. And it took me like 4 or 5 years to find out what actually happened. And it's because my friend who lived around the corner was a cop. His dad was a cop. Obviously, not my friend was a cop, but his dad
Got
was
some
a
friends in high
cop.
places.
So it was a really nice white pristine house. It was built on the property there, but ever since it's been like overgrown grass, gravel driveway. It was never finished, the driveway, and all the furniture and all the cabinetry in the house, big windows so you could see inside all the time. It was all draped over, and everything was covered up with sheets, and everything was like plastic wrapped still, and no one has ever been in it really. And it's like weird, very interesting. So I guess what happened was it was a surgeon who owned the property and who had the house built there. And he came over from the States. And I guess what happened is his they were in a car accident, and his daughter was killed in the car accident. And then it was his wife and his son. And then what happened was they moved from the States to try and get away from everything, and then came over here. And that's one of the reasons they moved. And then his wife had cancer, and she passed away from cancer. And apparently the dad became unstable. Boy was taken away by child services, and the dad killed himself and hung himself in the house. And the house was never sold off because the son owns it. It's left in his name, and he wasn't old enough to inherit it yet. So the house just lay dormant for like 10, 11 years now, and no one's been in or out of it. They just have someone that trims the grass once in a while and makes sure the house is safe, but no one's been in or out. Creepy as fuck, man. I used to walk down there at night and like always walk by it and like, fuck.
I asked
Weird,
for
man.
scary, not sad. Well, Nick asked
So
for scary.
I mean, kind of
Everyone used to say
scary.
it was haunted and shit, but I never saw anything.
So more St. Catharines shit. My brother dated a girl, and we like back when you're like still in elementary school, and you got your girlfriend, that kind of dating, not like
If you hold hands, you're married. Yep.
yeah, that kind of shit. So
Yeah.
she lived in Lucas would know. Well, I mean, I guess it's a common murder, kidnapping shit. They lived in the Homolka house.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Yeah. So the Paul Bernardo, Carla Homolka shit. So they lived in the house. Oh, he's back.
Yeah,
And,
was that cap off?
What's that? I'm gonna wrap this because Lucas just finished one. But I'm gonna finish. But yeah, like you go there, and same thing, kind of like my grandma's house. As soon as you walk into the house, I didn't know it was the Homolka house until after.
Oh no!
But as soon as you walk into that house, again, you feel sick. Like you ate bad
Fucked up
shellfish
shit happened
and
in that house.
and Damon would stay over there and constantly kind of like Ryan with you hearing like radio shows in the like downstairs, constantly you hear just like sounds like someone kicking a wall or just like hitting shit in the basement. As soon as you get into the basement,
That's where
it
it all
stops.
went down. That's
Yeah.
literally where it all went down with Homolka and Bernardo. So
Fuck.
So as soon
man.
as you go into the basement, you hear like kicking of like wood, like not like kicking like drywall, but kicking like something physical, like a table or just like a wooden item. And as soon as you get down in the basement, it stops, and like the whole basement was just Christmas decorations and boxes and stuff. But
it's
yeah,
Jesus.
Jesus is coming back in the second coming in the Kamoka house.
So Nick, you
But,
left off at light went off.
Yes.
Oh really? Oh my god.
How
dude.
long were you talking?
Street light
Fuck
went
that.
off.
So it had to have been 5 minutes. But yeah, I'll just honestly, I like as I was talking, I was kind of like, oh, I'm rambling a little, so I'll summarize what happened. But basically, like, so that the light went off, and I kept hearing this like blood curdling scream because there used to be these kids that would play in the park and stuff. But it was like 1 or 2 in the morning, no one was there,
Fucking
whatever. I'm
kids.
looking around. And I was saying how I was thinking, like, oh, it could be what Dev was talking about, where like a sound sounds like it's coming from somewhere, but it's coming from somewhere else. But it wasn't that, because I was like, I said to my brother, I'm like, that sounds, because I woke him up and I'm like, that sounds like it's really close to, like, you know, where we, like, what kids would normally be at the distance, whatever. And I could hear this girl screaming. And I'm like, I don't see teens. I don't see anybody out there. Like, what the fuck is going on? None of our neighbors reported screaming, none of that. So I said, fuck this. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to go and sleep downstairs or something like that. And as I'm walking out of my room door, right above me, like as you walk out that room door in the upstairs hallway, there was an attic that no one ever used. And even like our landlord, when we first went in there, was like, oh, you know, you don't need to go up there. Nothing up there, whatever. Don't worry about it.
Don't go in the attic.
Yeah, as no one ever went in the attic. And as I walk past this fucking thing, blows open. Like stairs fall down, like the ladder falls down, and like the thing's open, whatever. And I'm just looking up into like this dark ass abyss, and I was like, "Yeah, no." So my parents came. Yeah, so my parents came. And sealed
But you
that
didn't
shit.
go up?
Yeah, my
I
parents.
would have
You
gone
went
up.
up
If
later.
that was me, I
Dude.
would have gone up in a heartbeat. Bro.
I would, dude. I was about to.
No.
I was about to bolt out the.
I would have
fucking house.
gone
I
up,
was like,
but not right away.
so my parents come up and they reseal it. And even they were acting like, oh, it's just the wind. It's just the wind. I'm like,
Oh, it's just the wind.
it's the middle of July. There's no clouds. There's no wind. There's no wind outside. What wind? And
Yeah,
then-
Brampton's at the bottom of a fucking soup bowl. Wind doesn't
dude.
even get down there. Brampton doesn't get wind.
There's barely any
really
air.
true.
So I was saying like the Heart Lake area, because I'd heard tons of people talk about like having fucking like experiences up there, whatever. So I'm wondering if like, I mean, no, all jokes aside, like shit with like poltergeist and how like, you know, the building on top of Aboriginal and indigenous burial grounds and stuff like that can cause that kind of shit. I mean,
I don't know if it was that far, but I know it was old farmland.
it's fucking, yeah, it's crazy. So you don't know what happened up there way, way, way back when. And it's just like, it's super fucked up shit, man. I've always had bad experiences at that house. I was saying when we first moved in there, I don't give a shit what anybody said. I cleaned that shit off the closet door, but on our closet door in our room, like my brother and I shared room, there was like hearts like drawn, like carved into the fucking wood of the door, broken hearts, and like
Aw.
you know, kind of like, because it was owned by a teen girl, and like
Fucking emo shit,
dude,
yeah.
apparently like the parents were really abusive and shit, and there was like stuff
She's a
that like
witch.
the landlord just wouldn't talk about. And looking back now, having seen movies like The Grudge and shit, I'm just like, landlords that don't want to talk about shit. I'm like, yeah, I know to look out for that now. If I say, hey, look, what's the history behind this place, and landlord goes, you know, don't worry about it. Yeah. Bye. Bye.
Starts worrying.
Oh.
Hey, what's that over there? Turns
out
out runs.
the screaming reminded me of. Did I tell you guys about my 2019 New Year's?
Mm-mm.
Where I thought I was going to die, but it just turned out it was my ex's paranoia. Not even paranoia. It was just like a funny fucking situation. It was terrifying in the moment, but so I ended up falling asleep on the couch in front of the main window to the house.
Okay.
At like
In
11:30.
In this current house?
Yeah, where I am now.
Yeah.
So I ended up falling asleep on the couch like half an hour before midnight because it's like, fuck it, I'm old now. The ball doesn't matter. So I'm asleep. I'm fucking out. And then at like 12:05, I get shaken awake to like panic going, get up. I just heard screaming and gunshots. And I'm like, fuck me. I'm in Hamilton. Bolted upstairs. Like fucking just yeeted myself out of that situation.
I remember you telling me this when it was happening. You were like immediately in contact with me.
Yeah, because I was fucking out. Like I was asleep, ready to wake up and have it be 2019. It was great. And then like, get up. I heard screaming and gunshots. And then just fucking sitting up there. Okay, cool. I called the police. Police are like, okay, cool. We'll be there as soon as possible. Please tell us like where it was, where you are, and where all that shit is. I'm like, okay, cool. So I look at her and I go, okay, so you heard screaming and then gunshots. She's like, yes, there's this girl just like screaming at the top of her lungs and then bangs. And then, because I just woke up, I'm sitting there like, oh, fuck, okay, shit. So we're sitting up there waiting, hear a knock on the door, and it's the cops. And the second I go to open up the door, it hits me. It is midnight on New Year's Eve.
New Year's?
Yeah.
Everyone is drunk. That was fireworks.
Yeah, or like poppers or anything.
Anything. My neighbor right over
my
there shoots off
God.
fireworks for literally anything. So by the like I open the door, and the time it takes me to open the door and see the cop's face, I'm like, it just hits me about, I know what happened.
Oh my god!
So
did you have to
that
play
was-
it off though? Like, yeah, we heard gunshots and screams.
No, I
Was it-
immediately said, thank you so much for coming. I think this was just a matter of just bad sounds in an old house. But
Fuck,
Jesus.
man.
Like, I actually thought I was going to die with the amount of panic going on in the house at the moment. I was like, fuck, okay, shit. So we're hiding in the upstairs, and she's like, okay, wait, no. It's New Year's. Those were fireworks. That girl's definitely drunk and really happy right now. I'm going back to bed.
Yeah.
That or maybe that's what the killer wants you to think.
It is entirely possible someone got
I
shot
was
down
gonna
the street.
say, if you're gonna shoot someone, do it on like fucking
on a firework night.
Do it on Victoria Day, do it on Canada Day,
Yeah.
do it on New Year's, and at
Damn it,
midnight
Lucas.
you fucking bop,
You know, I
put
have to
the
edit that
dog
out.
away.
No,
I
I
had to
love
edit
the
that
dog.
out.
Only
no.
booze.
Don't
Only
put the
booze
dog
is allowed
away.
on this podcast. I'm
Look
gonna
at
get a
that.
dog
Look
and I'm
at
gonna name him
that.
Booze.
Yeah, see, Bruce.
All the
I heard
animals
Bruce.
come
I didn't hear booze. I heard Bruce.
Yeah.
You know I'm editing him out, right?
No,
That's okay. I'm just,
Oh my
I'm
God.
just-
The bourbon
Look-
is seeping into the mustache.
Lucas, can you get a green screen suit for Bruce?
I'm actually working on getting a green screen for him because I got some silly plans for him. I just need the sheet so he can go from floor to wall without any. Because I only have a pop up.
We have a. It seems like we're making a whole episode of this, but do we have any other like paranormal, any sort of funky dunky stuff?
I've been hunting for it my whole life and never experienced anything. I can always have a rational explanation for everything I've experienced. So, but I will always am a believer, and I.
And
Always
so
wanna
I'm
see
very
something,
much
but
the
never get to
same
see it.
way, where I will think of because I've had many situations that you can probably consider paranormal, right? But then I can sit down, and the moment I can count on like one or two hands, like other scenarios that it could have been, then I'm like, okay, I'm not going to worry about it then.
Well,
The ones like the couple that I told you guys about, there is nothing that I can. How is it that every time Tara talks to someone in their closet, we wake up and my dad and I have like silhouettes sitting over a bed, and we're not sleep paralysis. We get up and it fucking like it just goes away, like it like lightning speed. It disappears, and you're awake. And then your brother goes, "I saw it too," and your dad goes, "Did you guys see the fucking shadow thing?" We're like, "Fucking yeah!" And it turns out, kind of like Nick was saying with the whole like burial ground shit, that thing's holding energy. That the Page Street. It's a bit of information I forgot to say. The Page Street place, the one where we saw the shadow going down the hallway and Tara talking to something in the closet, was the house was rebuilt, but the house and the additions burned down like 60, 70 years before that. And the dad and a daughter died in the house fire. The mom was able to get out and someone else was able to get out, like another family member. But two people died in that house. And we always kind of things other than that, like, and that shit that's like someone told us, like if you go into like the St. Catharines like newspapers, you find that the Page Street fire. So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, obviously this happened, like we know about it. We had speculation that maybe the kid died in the closet, like hidden in the closet or some shit, because Tara would always talk to something. And again, Tara was like 2 right? They're not even words yet. Just like fucking baby nonsense, right?
Babble.
But just talking to someone in the closet, and as soon as you walk in, she'd sit down and be quiet because Tara never ever spoke.
Well-
she was a late bloomer when it comes to speaking.
I know you and
Tara,
I had this conversation about my theory about why this shit is actually possible.
Well, I mean,
basics
we've
of physics.
talked about it.
The basics
Like
of
the
physics
fact that
is
energy cannot be
energy
created or destroyed.
cannot be created
it
nor
can only
destroyed.
be transferred. Right. So
And
when
the
you
brain
die,
is
right,
literally a battery.
we know that the body is full of legitimate electricity, not like a way of describing something. It's legitimate
electrical
electricity.
pulses.
Yeah, like fucking.
That is energy, right? Our body is full of energy. You could call that soul. You could call that whatever you want. Whatever you want to call it, it's energy.
And then I've
And
expanded
the
on that
laws
since
of
because the
energy is that it can't be created. So when we die and the physical self dies, it ceases to exist and decomposes, energy has to be transferred somewhere.
And again,
Somehow.
I've expanded on this under the idea of when someone dies, and it's kind of it's kind of stolen from The Grudge, but it does still make sense. The idea that when someone dies in an incredibly stressful, aggressive, angry, or scared situation,
Anxious. Yeah.
the amount of energy that is pushed through the brain to then secrete chemicals like adrenaline, cortisol,
fight or flight.
Your brain is firing on all cylinders. That is a much larger amount of energy than if you were to die in a hospital bed of cancer. So something
like
that
slowly
happened,
dwindling.
Yeah, something that
like
happened
something quickly.
Insane, like someone is murdered, it is much more likely that that energy is, when it was dispersed from the body and the brain, it is such a large amount compared to normal that it is possible that that energy could still dwell in that area, which is why murder houses tend to be more paranormally fucked
And
up.
that has always been my reason when people are like, do you believe in the paranormal? And I say yes, not in the sense that are there ghosts looking for their long lost husband? I don't know. I can't give a fucking backstory.
You can't
But
put
I do believe
intention on energy.
But that's exactly. But I do believe, kind of like what we're saying, is that like scientifically speaking, energy needs to go from one place to another somehow.
One form to another.
You cannot say that that's wrong. Am I saying that it turns into ghosts? No, I'm not. I can't say yes or no.
Not in a biblical sense, no, yeah.
But obviously that energy has to go somewhere, has to do something. And now we get hypothetical. If that energy lingers, let's say in a home, can it do some funky shit? Can it relive it? Like, can it like produce its own memories? Can it produce what it's constructed of? Yeah,
especially because
like talking about like the radio, like talking about your radio, right?
Mm-hmm.
The whole like radio show, talking about like the Blue Ghost Tunnel, like the people that died in Blue Ghost Tunnel were two train conductors. One train conductor was smushed so badly because it was a head-on collision between two trains.
Yeah.
One of the conductors crushed so badly in the train that when they tried to remove his body from the wreck, his arms and legs came off. His torso had to go off the wreck.
Oh my God.
They couldn't separate his torso from the rest of the locomotive, right? So you got
he was the first cyborg.
And then the other train conductor died in the fire, like died in the flames that came from the crash. So you got these train conductors, these workermen that died in such a catastrophic and horrific way. And then in the tunnel, you hear these big, thick work boots of someone walking around. Is it a physical being that knows it's walking around a tunnel? I don't know. I can't say. But obviously that the energy of that person can linger. Is it footsteps? Is it radio shows? Is it a shadow? Is it my grandpa who's still trying to keep people out of his workshop? I don't know. It seems that way. It makes sense.
That tunnel you're talking about, that's full concrete, right?
It's brick. It's old tunnel. It's
so it's stone.
It's like, yeah, stone.
It's an insulator, like houses. That's the other thing, is energy such as electricity can't travel through things like wood, can't travel through things like glass, because they're insulators. So if, say, you were to set off a shock somewhere in the house, or if your house is struck by lightning, you don't get hit by it. because it's designed to keep energy on the outside, but also on the inside. Especially old houses that are all wood. Nothing's getting out of that. It's not going anywhere because it's insulated into the house. It's the same reason we have muscle problems, because no person is grounding anymore. You need to take your bare body out to bare earth to ground. Like, that is a proven fact. You need to touch ground with your body at some point, or else you're just going to keep recycling the same used shit. You need to ground yourself. It's the same idea. This shit can't escape because there's no way to get out. It's got to travel along a surface.
And it has to go somewhere. If it's not in the body, it goes somewhere else. Where that is.
And do you believe that that like certain actions or certain instances can be conduits for like that energy's transportation into the living world? Because I was going to say
that's kind of like what Ryan was saying, was like about the anxieties. Like if you die in a very stressful bowl, because that energy can be like the guy who's slowly dying of cancer in a hospital. His energy is dwindling over the year, right? Where if I'm standing over someone, I'm about to fucking stab them. They're in that moment where like, this guy's going to fucking stab me. That's an instant of massive energy that immediately needs to transfer because she just died because I stabbed her repeatedly. I'm not confessing to a crime, I promise.
Just a really great Avenged Sevenfold song.
When it comes to something where it's like, can you do something to call upon that energy? I don't think so. That is like, I remember when one of the things where Amanda and I moved in together, one of the things that she was super skeptical about. I have a Ouija board that I love. It's this glass.
You are not allowed. I don't believe in that shit, but either way, I've seen enough. You are not allowed to use that in our house. You're not allowed to take it out of the chest. I'm not fucking with that just in case.
But I don't use it. I use it as a fucking coaster for my drinks.
Good. As long as that little triangle does not touch the board, we're good.
Oh, the plant shit's on the board. It's fine.
Ours are made by Hasbro.
Here's the thing, though. That's another thing. Hasbro makes Ouija boards. It's a toy.
You may not know they're an old family of diviners.
It's a literal toy.
You don't know that Hasbro could literally be old witch families that are like ancient diviners.
Fuck Hasbro. Not what I'm talking about.
Connect 4 summons the devil.
What I'm saying is that it's a toy. It's one of those things where it's like, not that I don't believe, but it's not like where we think energy. Scientifically, yes, energy has to go somewhere. Can you call upon energy? There's ways that you can attract energy with certain substances, but can I use a little? Can I use a little board and then conjure up a conscious form of energy?
What if it has magnets?
Maybe, but
Magmite,
like Magmite. But can I call upon a ghost to do its thing? I don't think so.
Yeah, because I was gonna say my last little story here. The reason why I asked is because me and my friends back in like late high school decided to do. Any of you guys ever heard of something called the Midnight Game?
Heard of the Midnight Channel, but that's Persona. So
no,
continue.
So we did the Midnight Game, and the Midnight Game is this thing that Vikings used to make prisoners do. Where I think like it was a little different though, because I think they used to make them trip on hard psychedelics or something. And the Vikings used to take prisoners, like they didn't blood eagle them and shit. They'd take prisoners and they'd send them up like onto a mountain, and they'd say, "Okay, you're doing a blood ritual, and then you're staying in the dark for 6 or 7 hours or something like that." Past witching hour, where it's supposed to be the most intense, and then like you're supposed to summon a demon into the world and evade this demon's pursuit. So you carry around a candle with you. Candle's like the only light that you have. Like you prick yourselves first. You write your name on a piece of paper. You put your blood on the paper. You knock on a door 12 times, I think it is, and the 12th knock needs to be at midnight. Me and my buddies did this like in my friend's basement when his parents weren't home. And it was fucked, dude. Complete darkness. And like I was thinking about it. And I'm just like, all this shit could just be like placebo, whatever. All the things that we were experiencing, because there was a point where if your candle blows out, you have to draw a salt circle around yourself and sit inside of it, as to not be touched by the entity and so that. And like your mind, dude, is like obviously because you're in that mindset, but your fucking head is racing. You're seeing shit. It's fucking crazy. Mm-hmm. Even as a form of punishment,
you're seeing shit. You're seeing
Dude.
shit because your brain is looking for it. But
You're
Amanda and I were
making
just
yourself see
having
shit.
Your brain
It's
is
Amanda and I
so
were just
fucked
having
up, man.
this conversation because we're talking about like when you're kids and you see shit in the dark and all that. But what your brain is doing is that first off, you're in the dark. So now your mind needs to compensate with hearing and all your other senses
Your
to
other senses are
compensate for the lack
heightened.
of
Yeah.
to compensate for the
Fuck,
lack of sight.
man.
Another thing, the brain doesn't like not having information. That its sole purpose is to take in and process information. So when it can't see things, it will fill in the gaps for you,
Fucked.
right? So if you
Fuck.
see like a little bit of area that has a little bit of light and that light has a little bit of shape, your brain needs to now make sense of it. Like Amanda and I were talking about, like when you see a cloud, your brain goes, that cloud looks like a rabbit. No, it fucking doesn't.
Yes,
The
it does.
cloud doesn't look like a rabbit
God
at a
made that for
different
me.
and at a different angle. The cloud is just a random mess of vaporized water. But in order
But
to
it's a
make
bunny.
sense, the brain goes, it kind of looks like a bunny, so therefore it is bunny, right? Like it locks that away.
Therefore,
You can't.
it is bunny.
It is
The
bunny.
brain will never be happy with the answer. It's random. The brain doesn't like that shit. So now you're putting yourself in a situation where you're anxious, your blood's pumping, your fight and flight's going, your adrenaline's full. You can't
Yeah.
see, so now your brain needs to figure out fill in the gaps for you. Another thing, the brain is programmed to see bad things in the dark. Here's why. Through our ancestors, thousands of years of evolution, what has the dark brought? Bad things, snakes,
Death.
scorpions, like hunting predators, nocturnal lions,
Dinosaurs.
and
The strongest
Jaguars
human
and-
emotion is fear, and the strongest type of fear is that of the unknown.
there's the fear of the unknown. Right.
Fuck,
So
dude.
the brain is, we are
Thanks for listening.
biologically wired to be afraid of the dark.
Yeah.
Especially man before fire. Before we had fire, all we had was the sun. So when the sun
always
went
afraid
down,
of what
we
we don't understand.
stopped. Right. So your brain is pre-wired to be afraid of the dark. Now it's looking for dangers in the dark. And dangers of what? It doesn't know. So it's going to fill in the gaps. So it's going to make you see things that are scary.
So I'm terrified.
they
of
there?
fucking Water.
Maybe not. The brain is it's filling in the gaps for you.
Because I've
So
only
that's
had
another
like, two
reason why
traumatizing experiences in the water.
Like
So
you can conjure up. Sorry, what was that, Lucas?
I said I've only had two traumatizing experiences in the water, and that's the only experiences I've ever had in the water. So that's probably why I instantly just
Oh,
terrified.
I
of the
can't.
water.
I can't stand swimming if I can't see the bottom.
Yeah, that's what I'm
But
saying.
like yeah, the brain is gonna fill in those kind of blanks. So when people are like, oh, I'm gonna do this ritual, Bloody Mary with all the lights off, like yes, you're already putting yourself in a position where your brain is now
Yeah.
having to work overtime to see something that it's supposed, because the brain is all about its job is self-preservation. It's designed to keep
Belief.
itself safe.
Yeah.
And so how do you keep yourself safe? By being fucking afraid.
Hey, junior
That's
philosophers.
exactly, look at some of the look at the little woodland creatures. How does it keep itself safe? It runs from everything. They don't
Yeah,
care.
I wish I could pet the squirrels, but no. Okay.
Little chipmunks, but no, it's designed for self-preservation. And unless you got bravery where you're fighting, right? If you're not fighting, you're hiding. And so when you put yourself in a situation where you're afraid, your brain is going to make you more afraid to keep it safe.
Hey, Diego Montoya.
Who?
You've killed my hour.
Oh,
We're done.
this was an hour?
Yeah.
Hell
We've
yeah,
junior
brother.
philosophized our way through an hour of conversation in which Lucas
scary
spoke
stories.
3 times, and we're kicking both of you off, and now next week is just going to be a 1v1 with me and Lucas.
There you go.
We're going to have a conversation. You guys are out now. It's just,
top liver.
Dude,
we're giving
we
it the
should
Lucas
do
episode next week.
we should do space next week, man. I love space. Talking about fear. of the
No.
unknown. I love space.
Well, we talked
I'd love
about
to
this
listen
on
about
the,
space.
on the visceral cleanup detail when I asked you guys if you believed in aliens. I would like
I've
to
got a
actually
UFO story. I'll save it for next
I've
week.
got multiple
Oh shit!
my
I
God.
don't have any. Yeah,
And that was
that'd be
witnessed by
awesome.
3 other people, so it was like, it's not just like I'm seeing something at 3 a.m.
my story got into the newspapers. So I if I can find the article, I'll also send it to you.
Yeah, but what
But,
you did
yeah,
to that dog was disgusting.
I know, but it was in pursuit of aliens.
Oh, sing
And
us
next
that, Dev.
Aliens next week. Aliens. Tune in. Pillars of Autumn podcast. I'm gonna have a new outfit and everything.
that your thing now?
Maybe people will come on just to see what
Everyone should
Dev's
have an
wearing.
outfit.
How am I supposed to trailer this if I have to take it a clip with you not in it?
I'm here, baby.
Just when the thumbnail, stick something else over him or something.
That's exactly it. Where can you find us, Dev?
You're gonna find us on Bandcamp. I don't even know where to Bandcamp.
It's fucking Bandcamp, Pillars of Autumn.
Pills of Autumn. Facebook, Pills on Official. Instagram, Pills on Official. It's official now.
Thank you for fixing it.
You're welcome. We're on Spotify, iTunes, all the fucking stream platforms. Check us out, like us, listen to us, buy our shit. It's cool shit.
It's not bad. We need more merch, but you picked Bulbasaur. We're not friends anymore.
Fuck you! God damn it! I was getting judged for picking Bulbasaur. I'm tired of this
Just
shit.
saying, you didn't go with the.
Yeah.
Hi guys.
Peace, boys.
Fuck Bulbasaur.